channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm so excited to show you the changes that we made to this brand new home that we've built. We moved into this home a few weeks ago, but it was built in 2020 and it's a McDonald Jones home. Before we started construction, we were in the planning phases. We made a few changes to the floor plan to really maximize the space and make it much lighter and brighter. So I want to show you all those changes that we made to the floor plan today. I will also be sharing with you why we made those changes and the exact cost down to the dollar that those changes cost us during the planning and design phases. If you're interested in that kind of content, please hit the subscribe button down below and ring the little notifications bell, as I'd love to have you as a subscriber. As I said, this home was built in 2020 by McDonald Jones. It is their Almira 2 design, and we particularly love it. It is part of the cheaper range that McDonald Jones actually have. So the house itself wasn't too pricey, but with the changes we made, we've actually had this house turn out like a display home we saw, which is one of the top range McDonald Jones homes that you can purchase. With a few little changes that we've made to the floor plan, we've actually increased the value dramatically. Let me show you exactly how we did it. So the first change that we made was to the kitchen. I'm going to show you the floor plan of the original house now. As you can see here on the floor plan, the home itself had a children's activity in there, and it had a small door that you then had to go through and turn to the right to go into that children's activity room. I thought this wasn't a very good use of space, as we wanted a really open plan home and we wanted to maximize the area to feel much bigger. I thought this big wall cutting the children's activity from the rest of the open living area was a bad use of space. So the change that we made was to slide all the kitchen cabinetry and everything along that wall down until it closed off the walkway through. And then by doing this and sliding it down, I actually created a much larger pantry for myself. If you have a look through my other videos, I will link here above though for you. I did a pantry tour not too long ago because I love my pantry so much. I'm so happy we made it much larger, and it is a great storage area for the bigger appliances and the kind of things that I bulk buy as well. So make sure you have a look at it. I will link that video up above right here for you. But when we slid all that kitchen cabinetry down, we actually turned the pantry into a right angled pantry. So the door came out on an angle and it was much easier to access the space. The floor plan that you can see means that if you came into the pantry, you'd be sticking your arm up awkwardly into the corner if you needed to grab everything, and we did not want that. So by changing this corner pantry and making it larger and sliding all the cabinetry down, we made a much nicer, more user-friendly space and increased the storage in the house. So once we closed off that cavity, as you can see, we then didn't have access into the children's activity. But we wanted to use this space for something more than just a children's activity area. We've actually used this space for a games room, but we wanted future buyers or owners of this property to be able to use it as a reading nook or a children's activity space, maybe another TV room or a games room like we did. We wanted it to be a bit more functional and versatile. So what we then did is we switched the wall between the children's activity and the kitchen. That wall now has double sliding doors on it with some frosted glass in them to open up the space. That has made the entire look and feel of the house flow much nicer, and it's made the rooms feel so much larger, because when you walk into the living area, you can see back through that room and it makes the whole area feel much larger. And by having those sliding doors there when we are entertaining, we open those up, and we open both the triple stacker and the double stacker going out onto the back deck right up. And the whole area just flows when you've got guests over or you're having a party. It makes it feel much more big and open, and you can mingle and move around much more freely. So that is the major changes we made to the kitchen, and I am so in love with them. I'm so happy we did them, and they made all the difference, and I'm sure they're going to increase the property value significantly. Let me show you the budget and the actual cost for these changes so that you know how much you're up for if you decide to do something similar. The cost for these changes was pretty minimal. It was $2,035, which is money well spent as far as I'm concerned. The main cost for those things was to add the extra melamine shelving into the pantry and change the size of that, and to add that double sliding cavity door into the children's activity. So once those changes are made, that was really it. and $2,035 is pretty cheap. The next change we made was to the master ensuite. The master ensuite in the original floor plan was pretty small and not very master, and it definitely didn't have an open, light and bright feel that the rest of the house did. So my tricks that I applied here was to open up the space by first of all giving us a larger footprint. We popped out the external wall that you can see the toilet there against, pop that out to create a little bit of space and give us more square footage. This is also a really smart, clever design as it allowed the outside of that wall to have the pop out. We then had that pop out rendered so that it adds a bit more dimension and a bit more texture and color to the external wall of the house that's down that side. We didn't just want a flat, boring brick wall, so that pop out with the rendering really sets off that side of the house. The next thing we did was slide the wall that is shared with the home theater and made the home theater smaller. We didn't want a home theater that big as it was in the floor plan and thought the much better use of the space would be to increase the wet area bathroom size, as I do think bathrooms and kitchens are really the things that sell houses. So by sliding that wall up, I also got a larger walk-in robe, which I'm definitely not upset about. But once we slid that wall up, we then shifted everything inside around. We moved the shower against that external wall and swapped it with the vanity that was in there, the single vanity. By putting the shower against that external wall, I was able to add a little pop-out storage area into the shower that we can now store all our shampoos, conditioners and soaps in, and it is so much nicer to have that storage there. But we were only able to do this because the shower was then against a double thickness external wall. The next change we made was a really big one for me and Ryan. We actually don't like sharing one single vanity and one mirror because both of us like to have our own time getting ready in the morning and we get ready at the same time. So we don't want to have to be fighting each other for that space in the morning. So we wanted to have a double vanity with 2 sinks and a really big mirror, so that way we had far more storage space as well and could get ready at the same time together. What we did is we moved the vanity against the shared wall with the walk-in robe and made it a double size vanity. We added a second sink and there's heaps of storage in there. It's got 2 cupboards and 3 drawers in the middle that we share. We then also increased the mirror to be a huge double-sized mirror. It really bounces all the light coming through the window around. So once we had this really big double vanity and the big mirror, I wanted to make sure there was additional light coming into the space. The toilet that was there already against that external wall had a tiny little window above it, which was really not going to do the job to create an open, bright and light space. So we moved the toilet against the wall shared with the master bedroom. This also means that when you open the door into the ensuite, you don't see the toilet. It is hidden behind the door, which is a really nice feature as well. But we were then able to add a huge window into that bathroom, and it's the same shape window as in the master suite. We have 2 of those windows, again matching, so there is a bit of a cohesive feel through that whole master suite. We also put a little bit of a trick here because you obviously don't want to see a toilet out of a window. So I put shutters on that window and they're split in half, and the bottom half of the shutters is often closed, but the top half is left open to bring a lot of light in. The other great trick here with having that window there is that because it's opposite the mirror, all that light comes straight through the window and bounces around from that mirror, creating a really light bathroom. These changes were so great and made a really big difference to the house. The only thing that I would change if I had my time again would be to take out the bulkheads. McDonald Jones included a bulkhead along the left and right ceiling of the ensuite, and it is pretty typical for their homes to have this in the master ensuite. It's a nice design feature and I didn't mind it in the display homes, but if I had my time again, in our particular ensuite, I would actually take those bulkheads out and have the full height ceilings without any bulkheads in there. It would really open up the space, and I think it would make it a little bit brighter and bigger yet again. Let me show you the budget and exactly what that change cost us. So that change was a bit more expensive, but it's pretty understandable as it was a wet area and I increased the floor size quite substantially. The total cost was $4,645, but this included all the changes and adding a much larger window in there as well, which was a significant amount of the cost. We switched a lot of things around, moved plumbing, and we got that double size mirror and the additional drawers and cupboard on the vanity and an extra sink with all the tapware. So I can completely understand why it was that much, but I do think the $4,645 that we spent is going to be given back to us tenfold when we sell this house because of how incredible those changes have been and what an impact they've made on the actual property as a whole. The master suite definitely feels more grand, and I love going into it every single day and using that space. I'm really happy that we made those changes and the changes to the kitchen. If you are looking at making changes to your home, I hope this does help. And don't feel too scared about designing it yourself and making changes that suit you and your lifestyle, because you're the one that has to live in it at the end of the day. But always keep in mind the next person that may live in the house and how you can increase your resale value. Thank you so much for watching me here today. I'm so happy you stuck around till the end. If you like this video and you like the content that I'm making, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and push the notifications bell so that you're notified every time I post. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.